Hello fellow horn and brass players. I wanted to do a video on the Caruso Six Notes today and some variations that you may not be aware of that can be extremely helpful for you in your playing. Now, if you're familiar with Julie Landsman's Caruso videos on YouTube, you kind of know what I'm talking about, but the idea is that we play a half note, whole note with a 4-bar rest. Then we continue the same pattern, a half note, a whole note, and we go up chromatically from C to G in the staff. Now, I like to add the low C to the G and then the low G to the C to this, so it's actually many more than 6 notes. But the important thing is we want to keep really good rhythm and subdivide, and we want to do air attacks on the beginning of every iteration of this. So the standard method of doing these Caruso 6 notes looks and sounds something like this. Etc. Now, I found a couple variations are extremely helpful, especially for students that have a lot of facial tension or that equate starting a note with the lips. And the first one is to do a bend. And I do this by playing the half note, then playing a quarter note, bending down a half step with just my lips, and then returning and finishing out the exercise. And that looks and sounds like this. And the value of this is that it really makes sure that we're playing with a relaxed embouchure and we're not tightening too much, because you can't bend if you're too tight. The other thing is that it helps our lips and our air coordinate together, which is the point of this whole exercise, as well as coming back to where the center of the note wants to be. Now, the second variation is something that works especially well if somebody is really thinking about starting the note too much with the lips, or there's a lot of tension when they begin. And in this variation, we're going to just play air on the first 2 beats. We're going to come in on the second half note in time and finish out the exercise. And that looks something like this. And this is a really good one to do, again, if you're approaching the horn with too much tension in your face. And doing it really in time is a challenge at first, but once you get used to it, it actually comes fairly easily. Now, the third variation is something that I looked at and developed because I was seeing some students who were developing a lot of upper lip pressure and muscling out notes, especially in the high range. And so I was trying to figure out a way to get students to use less pressure on the upper lip, and I developed this kind of half buzz. And so what I'm going to do in this variation is I'm going to play the first half note, and on the second half note I'm going to bring the horn off my face and then slowly bring it back. And as soon as the sound comes back, I'm going to stop my motion. So that looks and sounds something like this. And the buzz may or may not maintain, but the point is that we want to understand that the angle that we come back to is all we need to play, and often students are shocked to find that it is not where they started. And I'll give you an extreme example on the G again with this. So you can see I started with my mouthpiece really far dug into my upper lip, and then when I came back, the horn was at a completely different angle. So these are some ways that you can use the 6 notes as a variation in your playing, in addition to the standard way of playing them. And if you found this video useful, I hope that you'll join my Facebook group called Horn Players United, and I share a lot of tips and handouts there, as well as notices about my upcoming web classes. And I look forward to seeing you there, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. See you next time.